come with it as standard. So why don't we start by having a look at the things that have possibly been improved. Obviously the first thing that we're going to see is that we've got a much improved web browser. So I'm going to go to the BBC website because I think it's a great website. Now I've got this in landscape, I guess. Now quite often I think people are going to use it in portrait where you're going to be able to see more of the page, but obviously landscape works well for recording this podcast. So what we've got is we've got the BBC website. Let's flick over to the news page, and what we can do is first thing we can see is that it renders pretty quickly. Obviously it's going to depend on your internet connection, but what I found that even when using my iPhone at home, it's pretty slow at rendering up, and that's a processor issue, and I think you'll notice that the processor in the iPad is a lot faster, a lot more punchy. So it renders up web pages beautifully, makes them very readable. I can flick through and up and down, and obviously I've still got the ability to double tap in, double tap out where I want menus, select up different pages, but they render beautifully, and I guess other than if you're looking to watch Flash, which we all know isn't available on the iPad as of yet, every page is going to work perfectly. And the iPlayer, which for those of you who are outside the UK, is an ability to be able to watch anything from the BBC on demand. If you browse to it through your web browser, you'll find that it works perfectly and everything streams both video and audio without any problems whatsoever. So let me just come back out of that. So we've got a great web browser straight out the box. I can sit with this on my lap and I can really now properly use the internet sat anywhere without sort of squinting or feeling that it's really just for quick checking, which is what I used to use the iPhone for. We've got our regular mail application. The layout is slightly different. And what we can see here is that on the left hand side we've got various different emails that have come in, and as we select on them we can then also see that over on the right hand side it renders up the email. So first thing to do is to see that this is pretty much as per the iPhone. All I did was, when setting this up, is just say I've got a Gmail account and give it my email address and password, and everything else just works perfectly. So that's beautiful and renders up very nicely indeed. Let's go and take a look at iTunes. Now the iTunes application is actually on the iPad, whereas obviously on the iPhone it didn't exist, in terms of I mean obviously we could go in and we could take a look at stuff, but not really in the way that we can see here. Now obviously we've got along the bottom the ability to choose between the various different sort of sections. So we're on films, and we can sort of see that we can flick around, we can look at the top chart so that we can see top film rentals, Sherlock Holmes, pull up on that, and I can rent that for £4.49 in HD and standard definition. Okay, so what we can see here is that the tomato meter, or tomato meter, I guess as our American cousins might call it. So it's got 69%, and just as a point of interest, where I go race model cars, and up at the club where we race, it's up at the dockyards in Chatham. They filmed a lot of the scenes to Sherlock Holmes. Unfortunately, it doesn't make it a better movie, but yeah, it was a lot of that was filmed up where I go racing. So as we can see, we've got featured, top charts, and I guess Genius is going to be able to allow you to link through and to look at the movies that you've got, although I haven't actually got any that are purchased on here, so or rented. Again, we've got TV programs, works very much in the same sort of way, and podcasts, very quick to render up. Again, I think it's more dependent on one's internet connection now rather than its ability to be able to download the data. sort of render it up. So yeah, there we go. There's iTunes. It seems to work pretty well, and in full screen glory, makes it even more usable. What else have we got? Let's go and take a look at. I really liked the maps. Now, if we zoom in on roughly where I live, what I like about this is that we can pull up the info and we can go to, and it's going to turn it into Street View. And what we can actually see here is I can actually move the screen around, and obviously it's rendering up. Going to just wait for it to grab the data on this. Let's come down, see if we can actually see my house. Bit further, and now what we should be able to do is we should be able to pan around, and yeah, there we go. That's where I live, next to the church. So it's pretty cool. I got to say, I think this does look pretty good as an application, and I just love the fact that I'm just so amazed at the quality and the detail now that come with some of these maps. I mean, look, it's almost bordering on invasion of my privacy, but yeah, it works really, really well, and I really, really like that feature. So what I can do is I can go back to Done, and it comes back out to an overview map. So what else can we have a look at? Obviously we've got the similar sort of features that we had before. So we can go into here and we can go into satellite view. And again, so the rendered up maps are pretty decent, and it's going to really depend on your internet connection, but otherwise it's going to work pretty well. So I quite like that. And again, I guess the other things that people have seen, I don't know if we've got the traffic, but certainly the hybrid works where it overlays the road names. So we've got the road names. I don't think we have traffic. I don't know if traffic's working everywhere. It's probably only working in the main sort of metropolises such as London and Manchester and Birmingham, places like this. Not perhaps out in the sticks where I live. But absolutely love that. It's just great to be able to go and browse and have a look and find places and go and have a look at the street view, or certainly be able to have a look at the maps themselves. Really, really good. So that's rendered up and done really, really well. And having the larger sort of display makes it really, really usable when it's sat on your lap, sort of whilst you've got the TV on in the background, just using it for various different things.